Hi guys, it's Nicolette Duval.
I'm Regina J.
And we're SisterCURLFriends. Welcome back to our channel. This is our second episode. And in this episode, we are going to detangle therapy.
So our episodes are broken up into 4 segments. It is sectioning, detangling, washing, and styling.
Yes. You got it.
Sectioning is connected to when you section your hair before you wash it. And in that portion, we will be discussing our current relationship with the topic, which today is therapy. So, what's your experience with therapy?
Okay, so I have a more recent experience with therapy, but I had been going back and forth about getting a therapist, like being proactive and finding someone. I continued like this conversation about, I need to go to therapy following the death of both of my parents, which was, a heavy thing to deal with. So as opposed to getting therapy, I kind of lived in tunnel vision, just kind of moving constantly. But more recently, after ending a relationship that was toxic to say the least, but yeah, it is what it is. So after ending a relationship, I felt kind of pushed to really take the steps to find a therapist. It had been challenging to say the least to find the very right person for me. But after going through, so at one point I did have a therapist that I got, and it was assigned to me by my doctor. Not a great experience as far as
the older lady?
Yes, the older white. She was we were probably around the same age, but I could never tell. Oh. Yeah, anyway. So I was assigned to her, so I didn't choose her, and there was some conflict. I felt like being culturally relevant, sound mind, and just being aware. It just didn't happen with her. So I ended up finding a great therapist who just happens, and this is not even, I guess I'll give him a shout out, but he is the same therapist that was on Vice's The Therapist. There's a show on Vice called The Therapist. He did 1 season. Either way, this person was a therapist, but also a mentor and like a spiritual mentor for me. So I had a really great experience with this person who I came for one thing in particular, but he helped me to unpack so many different things. He has been amazing. Awesome. So my experience with him, I saw him individually, but I also was a part of a support group that was an additional therapy session for me, and I was able to work through a lot, and I still hold a lot of his sayings, but a lot of the work that he did with me, I'm constantly holding up a mirror to myself and actively really reflecting on my behaviors, triggers. I'm able to, in some ways and in some instances, implement the tools that was given to me in therapy. So my overall experience with therapy has been no short of amazing. Besides the price, it's expensive.
I've been able to witness you grow through your therapy experience, and it's definitely been a change in a great way.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
for sure.
My experience with therapy. My experience with therapy started in college. I reached out to the therapist that the school provided. At the time, I was having some issues within my family and also with my sexuality. So I wanted to see a therapist. I wasn't super consistent at the time, but she was always following up with me and checking in on me, which was good. The second time I went to therapy was right before I moved to LA. I was making a big move, a big change. I was quitting my job abruptly, moving to a new city by myself. And I was also leaving a relationship that wasn't healthy for me. So I wanted someone to talk to about that. When I got to LA, things were great, And then I began a relationship. My best friends moved here, and getting older, you know, you just start recognizing things in yourself, and these conflicts started to arise in my relationships, and I was not handling them well. And I was like, okay, I need to work on my communication. I want to communicate better with the people that I love. So that was what, you know, the catalyst is the catalyst.
Yeah.
These words always pop up in my head, and I'd be like, is that the right
You just
use
gotta
of
go
that
for
word?
it. Okay.
So yeah, that was the catalyst of me starting therapy in LA, was wanting to better my relationships, my communication.
Effective communication.
Yes.
Which I will say has improved, and I get to speak on that because like communication. Here's the thing, I am very aware of Regina.
She swears she know me backwards and forth.
But do I not though? Like without her saying it, but the thing about it is it's not enough to know your friend. It has to be spoken. Like you have to have an exchange with, it can't just be me like, well, I know what's up, like, in, you know, me trying to like pull things out of you, because that can be really frustrating, you know, wanting, and I've mentioned it to her before, like, I want to hear your thoughts. I want you to tell me when I'm not on my game, or when I'm like, I need to hear that from you. So it has been, and also not only that, I think Regina, she would question her thoughts, and so she wouldn't share them. So I think it was like about, not to speak for you, but it wasn't about just communication, but expressing yourself.
It was,
yeah.
Expressing how I feel about things, my ideas. That was always a very hard thing for me to do. I just wasn't used to doing that, so it was a new thing. And now it's great expressing my ideas and just saying what's at the top of my mind. It feels good for me, and it's great for my relationships. Like, they have heightened, you know, and I feel closer to the people around me because of that. So therapy has helped me communicate better, for sure.
Awesome. So now that we've talked about sectioning, which is really like reflecting, but also like pulling apart the thing that we're focusing on, now we're going to move to the wash portion, which is actual activity, because washing is a part of a hair routine that is an actual activity, and it takes work to do. So the work that we did last weekend was, we did art therapy with an organization, a non-for-profit organization here in Los Angeles called Good Soup. And so this art therapy class or activity was held at Sip and Sonder in
Inglewood,
which is Black owned, Black female owned, great, beautiful space. Just really enjoy, like, when you walk into the space, it's very comforting, and it's like cool. I think it's like a cool urban place for young people who want to get together. Oh, actually, they don't have to be young people. Whomever wants to come, like, get some work done, gather. It's a really nice space to be in.
It is.
So for the activity, I'm going to hand you yours.
Thank you.
So we were presented with a plain, this is like a cardstock rectangular board, and the person who led the activity, who's also the owner of Good Soup,
Mahila,
who's awesome, she moved us through a number of questions. So the first question she asked us was, how did you sleep? And so based on these colors, you were to pretty much paint a picture. It could be words, it can be just colors, whatever comes to your mind. So we were like expressing ourselves through watercolor. And it moved from how did you sleep to what did you dream? From what did you dream to what are your dreams? So she was kind of giving us like, she was starting off small and kind of building up to what actually was the thing that we were going to detangle.
Right.
So we moved from what are your dreams to what's been holding you back. And I'm not saying the questions verbatim. I wanted to take notes, but I wanted to be immersed in the activity. Like I wanted to be as present as possible. So she asked, what's been holding you back? What would it look like to be successful in the dream? Like whatever it is that you are dreaming or you vision for yourself, what would that look like for you? And then she began to ask questions around family. Mm-hmm. She went back to like, what could be holding you back or what could make you resistant? What's your experience with your family? Things, negative experiences that you may have had outside of your family, or it could be a part of your family. What were some of the other questions?
What voices do you hear? Mm-hmm. When there's the negative speak that comes into your mind, whose voice are you hearing mm-hmm. when that happens? What does legacy look like for you? Mm-hmm. What is happiness? What does it look like when you're happy? Like, what does that mean for you? Mm-hmm. I think that was...
Yeah, there were more questions, but those were like, I think those are at the forefront of my mind. And so this I'm not even gonna make excuses for my artwork, but I just want to go over mine. So she asked me how I slept, and I had just gotten my hair braided, mm-hmm. so I did not sleep very well at all. But I also had, I had a number of things just kind of like stirring in my mind as I'm going through like a few transitions with like work, emotional stuff, spiritual stuff, just a lot of things have been like on my mind. So I just put red at the bottom. So I was just like, my root chakra is a little off, like me feeling safe, secure, just feeling grounded. I have not been feeling that way. And so once I started from there, this is like a reflection of just like my energy. And so that I put my crown chakra here, but that's also was like relating to physically my head and the pain that I was experiencing, but also like the disconnect with spirit in some ways when I'm feeling like I'm not grounded, when I'm not grounded. And so she asked like, what are the things that are holding you back? So I feel like there's some things in my heart space as it relates to me doing the work that I feel is within my purpose. And then there's like my sacral chakra, and I think that's around like me creating the things that I want to see in my world, and that come from the heart. And then there's my solar plexus, which I feel like that's the area, I don't feel like, but that's the area where it's like willpower, confidence, and these are the places where I feel most disconnected. And she said, so what would it look like for you to be successful? And it would be for me to be aligned within my energy. And I also thought about like a tree and how the tree represents abundance and growth, and stability. And at some point, it is a very gay tree, gay me. And this is water. And this water, I was telling Regina, this just reminds me of that part in Boomerang, the movie, where the little girl is like explaining her artwork.
Oh,
she's at Halle Berry's class, and she's like, these are the fish. But so this is the water. And this just symbolizes like purification, like me clearing out some things, gaining clarity, and also like spiritual practices, just spirituality and water, because I'm Yumi, yeah. At some point a song came on, I heard the word bloom, and it just made me think about doing the work and the things that you need to do to take really good care of yourself so that you can flourish and, mm-hmm. And thrive. And the sun, y'all, I don't even remember what the sun, but
that was you standing in your light.
Yes.
I remember that.
This was me standing in my light and allowing myself to shine, mm-hmm. because I think at times I've kind of like dulled myself, whether it be for someone else. And I think right now it's been like the work that I've been doing in education, where I felt like I've questioned myself, and I'm like, girl, you have to remember who you are, okay? And you be shining. So that is my piece. You want to explain yours?
I do, yes. This is my piece right here. You know what? I hope the camera is, I didn't check the angle. Either way, this is my piece, and I remember when she asked about how we slept, but that's when I was up here with like the color pencil sort of shading and very lightly. And I had slept peacefully that night. And then this, I remember her asking, this was when she was talking about what voices do you hear when those negative thoughts come up? And I made an arrow pointing down. This was towards myself because I hear my voice. And what's holding you back? This was like fear and doubt, lack of confidence just holding me back. This is what this was down here. I don't remember the question surrounding this, but I remember this sort of like bursting out. I feel like all of my entire piece was sort of about bursting out and sort of like getting rid of this hesitation that I feel, this general hesitation that I have. It's like this person sitting on the edge wanting to get out from inside of me. So I think that's what that was. I don't remember the question for this one, but I know it was what I looked like, something about what I would look like if I let go of fear. And this was just me having wings, being my best self. And yeah, that's what that was.
The phoenix rising.
Exactly, rising up. This was me being happy, the sun. This is my family, and these little squiggly sort of represented everybody in my life that I care about and that I love. And this green was stability. She had asked something about like what we want in our life and surrounding what success looked like for us. And this green line was stability. Yeah, and I sort of connected that to the other things in my life. And that's my piece.
So this experience was good because while like we've had our experiences with therapy, there are other ways that you can have self-care and have some form of wellness, and this was like a really good activity. So in this segment of the episode, we're going to talk about detangling art therapy, this particular experience.
So what came up for you while we were doing this art therapy?
Well, one thing that initially came up was wanting it to be perfect. Like like she would ask a question and I wanted whatever I was going to create to appear a certain way. So at some point I had to let that go. I had to drop, I guess, my ego. I had to let my ego go and allow myself to really experience this in an authentic way. That was the first thing that came up. And at some point, I don't know if it was her asking about family or legacy, but I began to get emotional, like I wanted to cry. And it's not that I stopped myself. I just like kind of sat in the feeling before I moved on. She asked a question around legacy, and if I'm honest, I've never really thought about a legacy. And so then I was like, this is sparking something in me where it's time for me to think about that. And then I was wondering, like, why hadn't I thought about that? And I think it has something to do with what I mentioned earlier about living in tunnel vision. Like, a lot of us are like kind of coexisting to survive, but what's really important, I think, is to thrive and to like to really be aware and in the experiences that you're having instead of just life happening to you. So I think that that's also connected to like not thinking about a legacy. because I'm just thinking about how I'm going to take care of myself, and not as much. I wouldn't say as much now as I did. My mother passed when I was 22. So at that age, for sure, I'm 35 now. Like at that age, you know, I was really just thinking about like what I need to do to take care of myself. That probably was all that I was thinking, concerned about. I wasn't thinking about it in the ways in which, like, what am I gonna leave for the people after me? I wasn't even thinking about wanting to have children or anything at that point. So, but at the end, I felt like it was a great release. I felt happy coming in. Like I was excited to do it, but I did definitely feel lighter after the experience. And I was just like really grateful for Good Soup for it existing.
Yeah.
And it was just so excellent. Like this is something that you're doing on a monthly, quarterly basis, and you're offering these experiences to people
for free. It's free therapy.
Yep. So it was amazing. What about you?
What came up for me during it? Legacy. When she asked about legacy, that was definitely. I think collectively it was a thing because it was sort of this like, you know, people made these noises that kind of touched home for everybody, and it just gave me a new motivation. Like, damn, it made wanting to fulfill my goals stronger. Cause I'm like, I want to leave something for my family, for my friends. Like they will benefit from the life I create for myself. So it just gave me this like rush of energy when she said that. I was like, damn, I have not thought about that. And I love that. I need to incorporate that into what I'm doing. What else came up? I remember feeling really relaxed. I felt really good. She was playing all the songs I loved. I wanted to be like, who made this playlist? Like, this is great. It's a perfect playlist for the therapy. I also was really forcing myself to focus on my own piece. I think I had a similar feeling about wanting it to look a particular way at first. And also, I wanted to focus on my own piece because I didn't want to be influenced by what other people were doing. So I waited to the end to like look up and look around, and I was so taken aback by how different everybody's piece was. Like it was great to see, you know, how everybody's emotions came out on the paper.
Can I add to that?
Yeah.
I think what also was therapeutic was, so she told us all that we needed to explain our piece. And I think for some people they were like, hold on now, you didn't say we was going to
you didn't tell us that.
But it was therapeutic to hear everyone explain their responses and just what they came up with. There were some people that I felt like connected to. And then some people, when they shared, it made me kind of broaden my perspective of certain things, and it gave me something to think about. And it was nice to talk to the people that was closest to us. It was just a really healing experience overall, as it related to like what we did individually, but like even connecting with people.
Yeah, there was an older woman there who shared that touched me when she shared her story, and it was just great to hear her experience. And she was retired, and she was like, yeah, I'm just chilling. So it was just really interesting how she interpreted legacy on her painting. It was really nice.
It was really sweet.
Yeah.
I think she was saying like how everything that she does is rooted in love.
That's what it was.
She said something else, but just like love kept coming up. And I think for me, like I always refer to this book, Bell Hooks, All About Love. If you have not read that book, you absolutely should, because this is not about, at some point she talks about intimacy or like a romantic love, but it really starts with, and I'm getting off topic, but I'm going to go ahead and say it. It starts with the love that is modeled for you within your childhood, and how what's modeled for you shows up in the way that you engage with others. It's really great.
It's a great book. It will definitely challenge your definition of love and how people are currently loving you in your life. I think you'll take a look at that too and set up boundaries for yourself, and absolutely it'll change a lot. So moving on to our next section, style. It's my style right now. Styling is, of course, how you style your hair once you're done washing it. This is connected to how we're going to move forward with therapy, how we're going to incorporate it into our life moving forward and refine the practice of therapy.
So for me, it's not so much as like refining therapy just yet, but the things that I'm going to do in my everyday life. So like a large part of my piece was around like my chakras, like my energy, my mental, physical, emotional, and spiritual energy. And so something that's been coming up for me is a lot of like self-healing. So I've reintroduced meditation into my morning practice, because my morning practice for a while has been getting up, getting ready, going to work, doing the stuff. So I've been taking some time. This is very new, but I meditate. I have crystals. I have a ton of crystals, but I have a mojo bag. But these particular crystals,
what's a mojo bag?
So this is not a mojo bag. Is actually, if you're a witch, it's a bag that you keep that has different things of value. It can have particular crystals like tiger's eye, which helps to support with abundance. It can have like dollar coins, and so you use it to manifest abundance. I'm using this to manifest healing. And so I meditate with my crystals. I have a crystal for each chakra, but I carry this with me as well. So that's a part of that's one part, I think, of that's one part of the healing work that I want to practice on a daily basis. So yeah.
How will I refine this? I have a routine that I stray away from in the morning that just is very therapeutic for me, which is stretching, writing, drinking tea, really spending time with myself in the morning, when it's still a little bit dark, when it's very quiet, and writing down my ideas and thoughts. So making that a priority, making that a ritual, making that something I have to do, because it's for me, and it's just very healing for me. And it also relates to the things that I went to therapy for. So, it's building my confidence in sharing my ideas. When I'm writing my ideas down, they strengthen, and I'm able to see them clearly and share them with other people confidently. And, if I'm having something I want to iron out, in one of my relationships, which is surrounding communicating, I'm writing that down, and now I can, communicate clearly with whoever I need to communicate with. So just making that part of my morning a ritual, making that something that's sacred that I have to do for myself, is what I'll do to refine.
Yes. So I think in short, like therapy could be going to a therapist, going to an art therapy activity that we went to, but also like what therapeutic practices can you do on an everyday basis?
Exactly.
And so another one was like spiritual baths. And if you don't have a bathtub, a spiritual shower. And I took one this morning, and
a shower or bath?
I took a shower.
How do you take a spiritual shower versus?
Okay, so I went to see a Babalao. If anyone is, are we gonna get into this?
No, we gonna say it. We gonna say it. Sorry,
all right,
I take my question back.
Thank you. Okay, but I took a spiritual shower, and I had a really incredible morning. I want to talk about it more, but we're gonna save that
for the next episode.
Yes, absolutely. Thank you guys for tuning in. This is very therapeutic. I would say, like, us coming together, sister curl friends, and like, of course, we talked about this experience a little bit, but like going into detail and like sharing this is very therapeutic. So I'm like really appreciative of this. Are you about to cry?
No, it's the light.
It's the Pisces. So we're gonna end it here. Right?
Yeah, this is it. This is the end of episode 3. Check out our Instagram. Oh yeah, I'm jumping ahead. Episode 2. Check out our Instagram page at SisterCURLFriends for pictures, Throwback Thursdays. I think we only got one boomerang left from this art therapy. But moving forward, you'll see more behind the scenes videos and pictures of the activities we do together that we're gonna detangle.
Please like, comment. We want to hear your thoughts on this experience, what experiences that you'd like to share. We want to really engage, so please like, comment, and subscribe.
Subscribe. That's the most important.
Exactly.
Bye.
Bye.